Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy SoDebNair, and I am back, guys, with another Basketball Wise review of last night's episode. I want to get into it. I probably have the most unpopular opinions when it comes to this show, but we still gonna do it. So before we get into the video, if you guys want to join my crew, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, like the video, subscribe to my channel, please. Subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications so that you are notified whenever I'm posting new videos. Also comment below, let me know what you guys think about anything I'm saying. I don't really care what it is. This is what YouTube is about, and so I want you guys to comment and let me know. We don't have to agree on everything, but hey, do it. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Basketball Wise episode number 5. The show starts off with Jackie and Malaysia addressing the rumors from last season, and they made up, which we were all happy about. We know Jackie and Malaysia have a really pretty good relationship, and this is something that they go through all the time. So I'm just happy that they made up again. Shout out to Jackie and Malaysia. I love their friendship. Bring Brandy Maxfield. Seriously. Next, Shawnee takes the new girls on a tour of the house. They tell her about OG's breakdown after the tour, about the teacher. I didn't realize that the colorism and the racism thing was broken down between Shawnee and Evelyn, but I learned that this episode. I'm not sure if you guys did that either, but I did learn that Evelyn was racist and Shawnee is a colorist. So I did learn that this episode. Shawnee gives her experience with OG to the ladies, and that how she is hopeful that she could sit down with OG and talk, because OG seems more human on this episode to her based off her talking to the other ladies. The problem is, for me, it's like she's learned this from the new girls, and I think this is something that Shawnee and OG should have done together, because maybe it would have just made more sense. But I am glad that they actually said something, because based off of the conversations that OG has had with Kristen, it just hasn't really gone that well. So I'm glad that they told Shawnee this, so that when they do have the conversation between OG and Shawnee, she has this information. Now we go to OG and Jennifer. After they had their awkward disagreement last episode, Jennifer is trying to just move on by having champagne and talking to OG. OG has some little basketball purse that she's going to bedazzle. And so, Jennifer's asking, what's going on. OG's like, I got this purse, I'm a bedazzle it or whatever. And so, Jennifer, in a normal conversation, she starts talking about, what she has going on. And OG reverts back to herself. She didn't even acknowledge anything that Jennifer even said to her. Then Jennifer goes and reads her in the confessionals, which, good luck to you, Jennifer, during the reunion, because I know that's going to go crazy. The new girls, Nissan and Nokia, I think that's Nissan and Nokia. They start asking questions to get to know the ladies from the other house, and they finally find out that Nokia dated Phoebe's ex. And pin that, because that comes up later on in the episode. You could tell that, is it Nokia or Nissan? Whichever one that it is. And guys, forgive me because I can't remember these girls' names. I don't really like the whole twin, or they ain't twins, but the sister duel, because it's hard to remember which one is which, and they got the names are so similar. It's just even me calling them twins is it's confusing. You can tell she's really over the guy. She asks, is Phoebe coming? And the ladies are still unsure because Phoebe has been exposed to COVID. Shawnee tells the ladies at Evelyn's house what Nissan or Nokia told her about OG and the lunchbox, aka OG and the teacher. Remember the lunchbox. And if you guys don't know what I'm saying, remember the lunchbox, go back to Housewives of Atlanta, because OG's story definitely reminds me of Mama Joyce and the lunchbox. Everyone starts to sympathize with OG, even though OG's not there. This is the moment that OG should have had with these ladies, but she's being so antisocial that they just can't have it with her. So they're having it with Nissan and Nokia. So, kudos to them for at least letting them know, this is where this stems from, because you have to realize there's always going to be a root to a problem. And so I definitely feel like this is why the root of OG's problem. And I just think she's actually just giving this to these women because she feels like they've given her the same thing. Kristen wants to go back to the house and try talking to OG again, which again I find commendable. I don't find it shady. I find it very noble, in the words of Jennifer. But I think that it's dope that she wants to go back and talk to her, learning this information, because it gives more insight into why OG feels the way she feels and the trauma that comes from that. And, if you watch my last video, you guys will see, I've experienced colorism as well. So I definitely understand it. I don't think that Kristen is being facetious about any of this. Malaysia says what I've been saying since OG alienated herself. She said it might be a difference coming into a group of women that bonds are already built. And I've been saying this, from the beginning. I feel like this is probably why you guys don't hear the word aggressive when it comes to this group of ladies, because they have a past with each other. They are friends. So you have to realize, like, a stranger coming in and acting the way that OG does towards them is weird. It's kind of scary, because when you're saying, I'm gonna break your jaw, I'm gonna kill you, things like that from a stranger versus, my friends, like, the motive behind your friends versus a stranger saying it. So, I definitely believe what Malaysia said, she believes. And I said it before this episode came on, so this is not something that I did not believe. I think that Malaysia gave her honest opinion on this. It was like, we already have our bonds. These are like 20 plus years of friendships. And even though they are divided within the women, they still have those types of relationships. Like, let's say that I have a group of friends. What I can do in my group of friends versus me being invited to one of my friends, like different friend groups. I can't really go in that group and do the same things because that group of friends don't know me. So with my friends, like, I can get wasted, cuss them out and everything. And they're like, oh, SoDebNair, he's just drunk. But if I go over to one of my friend's house, they may be looking at me a lot different or weird, because it's like, well, what's going on here? Is he okay? Is he serious? Like, the things that he's saying, it's different. So you have to kind of understand that when it comes to dynamics of these women. OG doesn't have that relationship with these women at all. So she can't come on and say things like, I'm going to break your jaw and I'm going to kill you, and insert herself in different conversations that she doesn't even really know all the backstory from, if she hasn't. And I think that what's even bigger is that, what she inserted herself was a family. It was Malaysia's family with Kristen and Cece. So she inserted herself in something that she really should not have, I guess. I don't know. You guys comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I would personally never do that. Unless I got to know them and I was asked my opinion, or whatever. But even when she did do it, she used what Cece told her as ammunition. So to me, it's like, I still don't think that's okay. So Malaysia's original conversation was, I don't have a bond with these group of women, and I'm not fitting in. We're kind of getting into it. So I'm going to just say, because I look different, which is the colorism thing. And then we learned it was featureism. and then Evelyn is racist. So, you know, these are just kind of nuggets to think about, you know, for this whole conversation. Jackie and the new girls return back to the house with OG and Jennifer. They all sit down and talk. Jennifer asks how they felt about, you know, the other ladies at the house. Was it positive? And they gave off positive vibes. Moses let OG know that she told Shani about OG's childhood trauma, and baby, the floor started shaking, the lights started flickering, and the wrath of OG was ready to go, boo. I mean, it was like fully 100% loaded. It was like, when I charge up my phone, oh, we at 100 right now. She lets Moses and Methuselah know she doesn't want them to speak for her. Well, a lot of us were happy because somebody told them, you know, the backstory, which is what we all want to know, because, you know, a lot of you guys are not confused. Some of us are confused as to why OG feels the way she feels. Some of us were happy that they did because it gives some insight to the people at the other house to say, hey, you know, this is where this stems from. OG wants to sit and make everyone uncomfortable, but, you know, I'm like, girl, we on episode 5. Like, honestly, thank you, the sisters, for saying something to Shani, because now they have more information to understand OG, since OG cannot be an adult and say what she feels or why she feels or what she's experienced. Period. The next day, OG brings up to these girls, basically she hoped these hoes was clear on what she said the day before, that don't speak for her, because she still doesn't like that they told Shani her business about the lunchbox. Moses and Methuselah are annoyed at this point at OG and how she's treating them. Basically, they feel like she's acting like a control freak or like a parent, and they're over it. Jackie is annoyed as well with the tension in the house, and she's talking to Jennifer, and she's like, what is going on, girl? Because I feel so much tension. I can't even have a good time. And what is going on in this house? I'm sick of it. What's going on? And Jennifer let her know she over OG too. So now everybody's over OG in the house that she's in and the house that she's not in. Jennifer's like, I don't want to argue with OG. And to be around the negativity from OG, something just has to change. And I agree with Jennifer, seriously. And I also feel like Jennifer did the same thing that Jackie did with her the last episode. It's like, girl, this negativity shit got to stop. I don't want to be around it. And so she's like, I don't want to live in this. Like, we here for 2 weeks. Girl, we supposed to be on vacation. And now we sit here with attitude from OG. And she didn't even know that the girl, whatever the girl's name is, she didn't even know what they had going on, but she's over it. And I think at this point, I'm over it too. So they switch back to Evelyn's house. Evelyn and Shani call Phoebe to let her know that Methuselah had dated her ex. Phoebe calls her a stalker. She done sent her sex videos asking if it's her. She done called her on Instagram. She's never met this girl, and she definitely does not like this girl. Like, she is over Phoebe, then said a bunch of things. Because Phoebe is not for the bullshit at all with Methuselah and whatever's going on. And I actually hope that they do squash this, because I do like Moroccan and Moreau. Or Methuselah and Moses. Or Nokia and Nissan. Wait, I can't remember what I called them. Or whatever their names are. Whatever their names are. So we go back to Jackie's house, and they're having breakfast, and she tells OG that she thinks that Jen is mad, and she asks OG, did something happen between them? And did something happen? And she's like, I don't think so. And so Moroccan and Moreau turn to Jackie, and Jackie look at them, and she's like, did you guys feel any tension? And before Jackie gave the word tension out, they're like, yep, I feel like that. Like, they already know. And OG is like, damn, bitches, y'all could have had a little hesitation. Like, what? Okay. Jackie brings up Moroccan dating Phoebe's ex. Now, I don't know if y'all heard OG, but OG was like, she's downplaying it, but we're going to sweep this underneath the rug. So we already know that OG has heard this story about Phoebe and Moroccan and them dating. So there's a lot more coming to this story. that we'll learn later on, because we do see on the next episode that OG addresses that. So Jen finally walks out. She has her mask on. She got her wine glass, well, her champagne glass for her mimosas. And they're like, oh, you social distant today, bitch. And she's like, no, I don't have nothing to say. So Jen is wearing a mask so that she don't got to say nothing to OG, because Jen's feeling some certain type of way, which we understand. So they then go back to Malaysia and Kristen, and they're basically trying to prep talk to go over and approach OG at the other house. Malaysia and Kristen get into Jackie's place, and Jackie is surprised. She thought they were coming over to play games, but girl, they came over there to talk to Dad on OG. Jackie goes to go get OG, and she feels ambushed, and unless they are there to give her a genuine apology, she's heard enough, honey. She does not want to keep having this conversation. OG like, y'all bitches gonna apologize to me on this little bit of season that we got. And if not, bitch, we not having a conversation. So Malaysia goes over and she wants to talk to her. She's like, as a group, how can we come back as a group to get an understanding on basically what she's done, and also how they can move forward as a group. Like things that adults do to solve a problem. OG gets up and she starts crying. Malaysia and Kristen think, hey, we might have had a breakthrough here. Kristen says she didn't even know OG had that. And I'm like, emotions? Because I don't know if I know if she had emotions. But we know that she has them at this point. Malaysia hugs her and tries to move forward, but baby, OG has dried up some tears, and she is back, boo. Just when they had got the human form of OG and not the machine, to move forward, passing the blame has to stop. It can't continue. Telling each other how to feel can't continue. And to be honest, OG, she feels like the women can't deal with the year and a half of the backlash they received. Jackie is like, what the just happened here? Malaysia came here in peace and love. Kristen came here in support because she couldn't do it the first time. What's going on? And OG still stands firm that colorism still exists in this group. What I don't realize that maybe OG didn't realize was Jackie and Malaysia went a whole year and a half and didn't talk. They talked on the show because the shit happened on the show. And I think if it's going to be a public apology, it needs to be if it's going to be a public problem, it needs to be a public apology. Period. I don't think it should be no DM thing. I don't think that it should be no, let me hit OG up on the phone kind of thing. I think they should apologize in public. I think that's what they did, with each other, just like Jackie and Malaysia did. And I think that's just really what it was for them. But I don't think that OG wanted to hear that. We have to also realize that COVID was going on through this whole time. So who's at home thinking about OG and her colorism problem when people are dying and we're in a pandemic? But on top of that, with my kids and my family, I gotta call OG and talk to her. I don't think people was really worried about that. And I think those are factors that people are just not putting into the situation when they're thinking about this or watching this show. They didn't call her during that year and a half because there was a lot going on. So, OG, I know that you feel like I don't know. So let's talk about the conversation about Evelyn not being held accountable. I think people forget back in 2012 when Tammy and Evelyn went off on Keisha, and I believe the girl's name was Kenya. Basketball Wives was under fire really, really, really bad because it was like, this is not a representation of black women. And this is bullying. They went through a lot. I remember after one episode, they actually had like a bullying hotline number. And even at the end of the episode, Shawnee went and met with her pastor about, canceling the show basically because it is so bad. Like people were not really feeling the show. So they definitely were called out on that. I think people don't want to admit that part because they forgive Tammy. but they don't want to give Evelyn any of that. But she went through a whole transitional journey with Iyanla Vanzant and Oprah in her show because of stuff that happened with her and Chad. I mean, they both had like a thing. And Tammy still came back and tried to beat her bitches. So I know think people realize that they have been held accountable. People were going off them and calling them aggressive, and they were making black women look bad. At the time, I think they knew that, you know, Evelyn was more Latina than anything. And their fighting has never been a one-sided thing. I mean, we can even go back to Susie with the whole food stamp thing with Tammy. That was never a big thing on television. And that seems racist to me, but nobody was going off on Susie like, oh, you know, why Tammy gotta be on food stamps? Like, and maybe because Tammy handled it, they didn't care. But this show has had a lot of problematic things go on it. But it's just like when it comes to this Evelyn and Shani thing, because people just don't like them, it is so magnified to me. I don't know. And going back to what Malaysia said earlier, again, these women have a relationship that is 20 plus years. So yes, you cannot come into a friend group of people the way that OG did and just think like, oh, you know, they're going to just accept it or whatever. Maybe you guys do that. I couldn't see myself doing that. So that's my review, guys, for this episode of Basketball Wives. Let me know what you guys think down below. Again, join my crew. Turn on notifications. Like this video. Or thumbs it down, whichever one. You know. You feel how you feel. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to my channel. And hopefully we'll get into something next time. Until then, guys, I'm out.